Nice. I've been focusing on one since I'm new. Yeah, focus on one. That's all you need. And like I said, it's more than enough. Sometimes Monday, Tuesday, like for example, this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you sit on your hands for 4 days, and then Friday comes along and we're able to catch a move like this on gold. So ended up moving 200 plus pips during the session, right? And that's all you need. So all it takes is one trade sometimes, which tells me all you need is one pair. Okay. So gold, interesting week, very interesting week. So something I was talking about, I kind of put in the forecast early in the week as well, was when we took these highs. Or sorry, no, it was over here. Yeah, I met this guy. Oh shit, sorry guys. I'm not sharing my screen. Nice. I'm on fire. Cool. Okay, can you see my screen now? All good? Hear and see my screen? Let me get the chat open. Chat box. Perfect. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I was talking to you guys earlier in the week about, I sent out a forecast, I believe it was on Wednesday. I wanted to see price above these highs to look for a short. Would have been a short-term short. I'm also looking at, I marked these highs out. You can see from the past. Actually, let me get my brush out. Why did I mark this high out? Well, just simple structure stuff here. This was back in May, taking the low. Price retraces back to the extreme, okay, and respects that high and moves away. All right, so that's why I grabbed this high. It doesn't mean if we're just going to run this high in the current price and just sell off all the way. No, I'm just saying that this could be provide some sort of lower time frame bearish price action. Okay, so overall, I do believe maybe we're going to come back up and take out the structural point. But as my next destination, I guess you could say, I got my eyes on these highs. Okay, any reactions before then are just going to be false, right? With retail. Okay, and that's exactly what happened yesterday, or sorry, today. We got that short out of that area. It just provides us that short-term reaction. And then taking out this internal low here. We'll get into this PA in a bit, and we'll go through all the trades I took today on gold. For now, let's just go over some higher time frame stuff. And what ended up happening this week. Okay, let's start off on the daily. Cool. So gold starting to build lots of liquidity to the downside. All right. We took out this high. Make sure this is visible. We took out this high back in May. Okay. Since then, we've been bearish. Came to the low. Respected the low. Okay. And moved away. So this doesn't mean we can't take any buys. Understand that this is higher time frame. Okay. So there's going to be you're going to be able to have buys within this price action. Okay. This is the daily time frame. So what ends up happening is we come all the way back down to the extreme. Okay, we tap into this area, liquidity block, and move away. Okay, on a daily perspective, we come up to this false area where sellers are interested in selling from. We get a false sell-off, clearing that low. Okay, taking out buyers here, and then leaving liquidity where? At the highs. Okay, everyone understand this bit of price action here? Obviously, benefit of hindsight, it's very, very easy and obvious now. Obviously, in the moment, you're going to need to train your eyes to see this over and over and over. But we can see that from the lows here, okay, we have that reaction again from that liquidity block from the left. We go long, okay, we have high, low, high, and we take out that low. Okay, so again, retail sees that as a break structure, a market structure shift, whatever it is. These are going to be traps. We're not going to be selling here. We're not going to be selling up here. If there's going to be selling pressure that comes out of these areas, they're just going to be false. Okay, we're not interested in selling from these areas. Ask yourself, why did this high print? If we look to the left, we can see that there was a smart money trap, right? So where's that liquidity going to be? Above this high. So ideally, any buy positions taken down here, over here, maybe in any in these areas, you're looking to target this and then finally this. Okay. And then you can say that target, that setup is done, right? Because why are we looking for buys in the first place? Because this was a false reaction to the downside. Okay. Clearing liquidity here, inducing sellers into the market. Okay. And leaving all this at the highs. So once this high is taken here, you want to offload all your volume. Well, not all. You want to offload 90%, 95% of your volume because your setup is essentially done now. Okay. Once this high is taken out. Cool. Now, what happens is we take out this high. Okay. And we move bearish. And respect, again, once again, retail. Before we respect it, though, you can see how price comes to the downside, trades within this big wick. I believe this was July 5th. Yeah, that was NFP last week. Okay. We trade into it and we end the week off there. Or sorry, early Monday we trade into it. Apologies. Print this low, respect the wick, and we go higher. Look how we get a run on this low. Why is that important? Well, this induces sellers into the market, okay? So when we get that pullback, this is where buildups will occur. Any in these, in like all these areas here. So it ends up respecting this area and then trades away. Induces lower again, which again, what does that do? Induces sellers once more. Then price goes long. Where is the liquidity going to be? Here. Because every single time we took out a low here, we took out a low here, automatically sellers are going to be looking to sell in these areas. You're going to have liquidity above this high and finally above this high. So what does the market do? It runs up, traps the sellers. Okay. And then move to the downside. Why to the downside after? Let's go to the 5-minute. Cool. So we run this high. That induces what into the market? This induces buyers. Since we've taken out this high, okay, we can even mark it down if we want. As the retail seeing this as a breakage structure in their mind, they're buying down here. Okay. And look at that. The market even gives them a reaction, induces them even more. When, if you think about this on a retail perspective, I should use the replay tool right now. In live time, imagine retail marking this out as their breakage structure. Price comes down and gives them this sharp reaction to the upside. Not only that, but look at their bullish structure they get. High, low, take out the previous high, and then print here. Respect, come down, print another low. See that bullish structure? All this is doing is inducing a shit ton of liquidity down here. Okay, because people are buying here, people are buying here. And obviously, with this POI here, you have entries loading in at these areas. Stop losses below the low. Everybody understand this? Any questions here? Cool. So we get that reaction, false reaction here. This is in New York on Tuesday. We go bullish. Again, high, low, leaving all of this. Finally, we induce higher once more. Okay. This is going to be trap. Do not trade from that. And look what it does. It taps into a little 1-minute liquidity block area right here. I didn't take this, but it's nice to see that like that it works out like this after, right? You could essentially, how could we take this entry? We spoke about this on last webinar, but there's a couple of different ways. The way I usually take mine is I don't wait for it to come really deep into imbalances or fill the whole imbalance. When that liquidity is taken, so right here, I'll take that entry. Stop loss goes above where I'm taking the entry off of. Obviously, this liquidity block here. Okay. And I don't know if the RR is going to make sense in this example, but let's take a look. No, it still does. You still get your 1 to 3. Perfect. This is how we'd be taking the entry. Well, sorry. This is how I'd be taking my entry. Again, yeah, Ryan, 1 sec. This is not how everyone likes to do it. You have this whole imbalance. So technically, it could tap anywhere in this imbalance. Here, here, here. Sometimes it fills that wick like that. Or sometimes it fills the whole 1-minute imbalance, comes for the like the candle at the extreme. I don't care about getting the most perfect entry. When my direction makes sense, and then my entry comes along, I don't get too greedy with it. I enter the market when the liquidity is taken, and that's when I want to And now, yeah, that's how I involve myself. Ryan, what's your question, buddy?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So there so see there on the 1 minute, see how price came down, right? And
You're gonna have
I
to use the annotations for me and let me know. Like mark out your.
um where's the annotation?
It should on the Zoom bar that pops up. It should have the option there. Either
Oh
as
yeah, yeah.
okay,
So
there you
see
go.
how it came down like this, right?
Yeah.
So I would have been looking for this high to get taken first and then look for entry down
Why?
because obviously like let's say like I would have been expecting how do I do it? I would have been searching for something like this, right? And I would have been expecting like this high to get taken, then that's
Okay,
where my entry
instead
would have
of
been.
yeah, let's try and erase.
I would
Okay,
expect
erase your drawings
sorry?
for a second for me.
Uh
Instead of you having
sorry,
that
hold on.
perspective of like what you want to see, I want you to understand why this entry is valid. Instead of you saying I would have done this, I want you to do what I would do. Okay, so
Yeah, that's what
below
I'm saying because I
below.
don't understand why it was
Okay,
like
so
why
look.
you done that.
Okay, look. There's a BOS to the upside, right?
Yeah.
Are we trading this area, the red box?
No, we're not trading that. No.
Okay, so we want to trade into it though, right?
Yeah.
So why does price need to run up here? Why do we need to take out this high? Why
Like
do we have liquidity up here as
no, like
well?
what I'm saying, like this is what I would like so where's that tool I was
Well, that
using?
this is what I'm saying though, man. Instead of you saying what you would do, I need you to understand this perspective instead. So we had this BOS to the upside. Retail buyers are induced in the market. If we get reactions at the low, this is just going to be false. Okay, it's going to provide us a reaction to sell into. So we get that false bullish reaction from A to B. We have this internal liquidity that we've left. We've left all this now because this is a false reaction. So you have all the confluences to sell into the liquidity now. Okay. All the liquidity is taken at the high. We have no reason to push up here now. Zero. So that's our bias. So you're messaging saying your bias is always off. Once this liquidity is taken, you have no reason to be looking for any buys at all. Okay. Look here. Look, imagine all the sellers, one tap, two tap, three tap. You have all these BOSs. You have this retail concepts here. All of this induces liquidity at the high. They all get trapped. There is zero liquidity above this high. We have no reason to push up here anymore because all the sellers are taken out of the market. So they get liquidated. Here's a sharp reaction down. There's no entries at the extreme, unfortunately. But what we have, 1 second, there's people joining. Sorry. There's no entry at the extreme, but the entry comes about after we get that false reaction at the low. Okay. Because again, why? Why do we get that false reaction? We took out this high, retail or buyers are induced. This is a trap. Okay. As we know, we don't trade like this. This is going to be a trap. So if we do get a reaction here, it's false. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, so that's so okay, so that's what you were saying about even when you're saying about the markets being fractal, because I know if this even if this is let's say a 5 or 15 minute, I know like I'm already expecting this to get taken out so I can cut to the lower time frame and find an entry to then go down, right?
Exactly. You're trading
Like and
into
take
this.
this out as long as so let's take this out and then take out the higher time frame target.
Exactly. Okay. Can you mind removing your annotations from me?
Correct? Or
Yeah. Correct. Sorry. I don't know.
oh
Can you hear me?
yeah, it lagged for a second. I don't know what
Oh,
happened.
yeah, my bad. Yeah. Okay, cool. Um, okay, cool. Let's move on with this. So yeah, this was Tuesday. Not too pretty clean to be honest with you. I wasn't able to take anything here, so I wasn't involving myself on anything this day. Tuesday went along, and let me clear my drawings again. Cool. So Let's continue with the higher time frames here. What ends up happening is we spike below this low here, and look what we do. And I think someone mentioned in the Discord earlier in the week, we respected that wick still, that NFP low. What does that tell me? Lots of liquidity below here now. So this is going to be a future target. Okay. Maybe in the future too, this can provide some sort of trade, right? If we trade into this and get some sort of whatever it is, price action the other way, this could provide something for us. Okay. Since we've respected it once, twice, and then moved away, it's very clear, it's very obvious that we have resting liquidity below this low now. Okay. Again, this happens on a higher time frame. So look how essentially Monday, Tuesday, nothing too clean. We move away Tuesday. This whole move is just false, right? It's hard to trade that. Wednesday, we respect the high, take out some internal here and just continue to the upside. I don't remember what happened here on, I believe this was, what was this? There's, oh, CPI. Wow, yeah, this week was tough. Yeah, respects the high up here. Why do we respect the high? Simple stuff again, right? Look, take out that low. So any reactions up here are going to be what? False. Okay, we do not trade this. Ideally, what I would have waited for, obviously, again, this is CPI, right? So I'm not taking I'm not taking an entry before CPI. I'd be waiting for this low to go and then maybe look for something below and then trade into this liquidity, the resting liquidity that we've left. Okay, of course, I know CPI, we end up leaving equals here as well. So nothing too pretty. I do want to talk about something quick. I know someone asked me, I don't know if they messaged me privately or in the Discord, but they asked, how do I approach major news events? I do not take any entries right before news. So let's use CPI as an example. We have news that happened Thursday, 8:30. Of course, it's my time, 8:30 a.m. I do not take anything before 8:30. Okay. And with news like CPI, with news like FOMC, NFP, like the big boys, the major ones, as we know, those are the ones that move the most. Ideally, what happens is the day before. So in this example, news is Thursday. The day before, Wednesday, ideally it's ugly. Okay. And it's going to be sloppy because it's going to build liquidity for the news event. So it's something you want to keep in mind. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be like the Wednesday before the Thursday news isn't always 100% going to be really ugly. It could happen sometimes if there's a nice trade on the Wednesday, but these are things you can anticipate. Okay. So you don't have to stress yourself out too much if you're looking to trade on the day before a big news event. Okay. And even for the other ones, I believe like today was PPI. It's not a massive news event, but I'm not taking any entries before then. I will always wait till after the news event is dropped. My 2 cents, I've said it before to other guys, but you got to remember when we're taking trades in the markets, the one thing we're in control of, not 100%, but I want to say 90% of we're control of is our risk, right? When we enter a trade, we enter specific volume, we put X amount of risk on the table. So if the trade goes against us, we'll lose that specific amount that you're okay with. So for example, if you're trading a 100K account, you're risking 1%, you're okay with losing $1,000. Okay. The thing about news is if you enter a trade before news, all your risk goes out the window because you can get slipped 2, 3, 4 times your risk, right? So if you risk $1,000, trade goes against you, slips you for 2, 3, 4K. Okay. You're not in control of your risk anymore. So it's not smart to be looking for entries before news. Please, please, please wait post news. Okay. Also, if we have USD news in the afternoon for some of you guys or morning for like me, for example, if we have USD news, London typically builds liquidity for the news event in New York. Okay. So all these things you want to take into account. Best thing is when you hop on the computer at the beginning of the day, whether you're trading London, whether you're trading New York, doesn't matter. Always look at Forex Factory first. Okay. Always look at Forex Factory because you want to see when the news is obviously, right? Typically you want to hop on Forex Factory at the beginning of the week, see what the week's looking like, frame out what days look like they're going to be tradable, what days are going to be more tough, what days you just kind of expect to sit on the sidelines, like plan ahead kind of thing. All right. Just want to make sure There's some people in here I don't recognize Discord. I gotta think of a better way to go about this because your guys' Zoom names are different than your Discord names. We're gonna see. I'm gonna try and make it so your Discord names need to match up to your Zoom names because I don't want to be adding people that are not in the group. Like who's A? One sec, guys. Sorry. Um. Whoever just joined, A. You have your name as A. Can you just let me know what's your name in Discord? Are you in the Discord? I'll change my name. Yeah, please, guys, if you don't mind. It just makes my life a little bit easier, just in case randoms, like if people send out links to the call and stuff. I just want to make sure. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. A, if you can hear me, you have your name as A on Zoom. If you can type in the chat, please. Terry is your Discord name. Okay, cool. So you're in the Discord. Perfect. But yeah, guys, going forward, I'll let everybody else know in the Discord as well. But if you don't mind, just yeah, make sure your Zoom name matches up with your Discord name. It's just gonna make my life a little bit easier if you don't mind. Oh, even better. Thanks, Ray. Cool. All right, let's get along or get going with golds here. So Thursday, CPI again, tough one. Respects those lows and just flies. This is mental. Look at this. We end up moving 450 pips in one session. 450 pips. Think about that. If you have 2 lots on for a trade like this, 9 grand. It's the power of gold sometimes. This pair moves. Cool. So let's move on with trades I took today. So before I talk about my trades, I just want to mention a lot of people I can see we're kind of getting frustrated with this week's price action. You have to understand that the market doesn't give a shit about how we feel, right? Some days are going to be super clean. Some days are going to be just building liquidity and there's no trades to our system. That's why you guys need to understand the system and show up with that same mindset every single day, right? So let's just say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday happens. There's 0 trades. Thursday, you show up, mentally you're frustrated, you're tired, you want to trade. Then you start forcing them. You screw yourself up. Let's say Thursday, you have, okay, actually, let's do it like this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no trades. Thursday, you show up, mentally, your head's done in, right? You're like, man, like I haven't had a trade all week. My challenge or my funded's at 0%. Thursday, you have a blow up day because of emotion, right? You enter too many trades, you over risk, blah, blah, blah. You're down 3%. Then look, Friday comes along and it was super clean, but you just screwed yourself over because you're impatient on the Thursday. This is what trading is about. People underestimate the power of having a good mindset, okay? Keeping that psychology in check, right? Staying patient. When probability can, like the conditions are shitty, capital preservation is like, it's so important. Stay patient. Understand that there's always going to be another trading day. So let's use this week as an example. I was getting answered about my charts in Discord. People saying I'm not entering. Ryan, like I said, this is a very vague question. Like you have to like send me chart examples in the Discord and it's hard for me just to answer a question like that. It's just super vague. Okay. So if you don't mind, maybe after the call, get some charts, throw them in the chat. I'll look over them. Abdush. Let me make sure. Sorry, these guys. Some of these names don't look familiar, so it's my apologies. And I don't know. Oh, he left already. Oh God. Okay. Sorry, guys. Cool. So yeah, this week, for example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, nothing. Right? It happens. Friday happens, and we get something like this. So let's start off here. Again, we are talking about these highs. Why I had this high marked out, this internal point marked out from the past. We've came up, respected it, and then we've had this bearish move, this pullback. Okay. If you look at the daily, if I can erase this candle, I showed up today. So this is Thursday's candle, massive move from CPI, right? What I expected was I was kind of predicting the next daily candle to open up, have a move to the downside, right? Respect somewhere, whether that's going to be just like respect this area here, like tap this daily area. If I can have a brush, geez. Respect this, or even come back, fill the whole daily, print that daily low, and then flip and move to the upside, right? So essentially what that would look like on the 4 hour is a move to the downside, just a pullback, maybe take something out over here, print that daily low, and a move higher, okay? But in order for that to happen, on the way down, we need a what? We need to print liquidity, right? So I have a reason to long into it. So I want to see liquidity built. And then when my entry comes about, I have liquidity to target. So these are things I'm thinking about when I'm showing up on the computer for today. So what ends up happening is, look at this big bearish move to the downside. Look at the liquidity we're leaving here. Okay, you can mark it down as a whole trend line. You can see here we have relative equals that were left. Oops. Relative equals that were left here. If you look higher, you can see that this high respected this high, traded away. So you got some relative equals left up here. These are all internal liquidity points that you can use as like intraday targets, right? If you do take any longs. So what ends up happening is, let's hop on the 1 hour here. I saw that we had this internal liquidity point. Okay. We end up running that. Just tapping this. You can even say this is like, if you look in the context section, this is like a break and retest, right? So retail sees this as a break and retest. On the higher time frames, what this means is, since we respected this previous resistance turn into support, in the future, this is going to be known as a buildup, just like this. This is a buildup. This is also a buildup because retail is going to see this as a buying opportunity, and they're going to be tucking stop losses below these lows here, right? Maybe down here, down here, down here. These are all going to be areas that retail is going to be having their stop loss at. So this whole area is essentially like a break and retest, previous resistance turn to support. Now, this is a higher time frame thing. So are we taking an entry based off that? No. Obviously, we're going to look in the lower time frames and find entries that go with our system. So how did I take my first entry? All right, so we had news, again, 8:30, perfect example. Am I taking a trade before then? Hell no. I'm waiting to see what news does, and then I'm taking advantage after, okay? So as we can see, we print this low, price comes up, respects this trap, right? False reaction to the downside, and then finally we go long right before the news, taking out this high. Why is that important? Because since we've now taken out this structural point, this M5 high, whatever you want to say it is, buyers are going to be loading positions here. Okay, so we're going to have a shit ton of liquidity below this low. And then if you look to the left, below this guy as well. Why below this low? Same concept still applies. This low printed a new high, taking out this previous high. So this is going to be an area buyers are looking to buy from. Okay. But look at this. People are going to be like, oh my God, like, but this is a liquidity block. Like, we should respect this and move the other way. Yes, it was respected once and twice. Why? Because since it was a liquidity block, there was no liquidity there yet. So what happens was the market respected it once, twice. Now we have liquidity down here. Okay. And not only did we respect it, look how we respected it and moved away. Okay. Respected it, moved away. So we have liquidity down here now. Okay. So you see how, yes, this is a liquidity block, but is it a liquidity block we're trading from? No. Hell no. It's going to be a trap. Cool. So again, right at 8:30, timing is key here. News comes out 8:30. We're not taking anything before then. We wait till after. I took my first entry. Now, this isn't an entry I'm going to say to you guys that you should be taking. This is more of mixed with my experience / intuition, I guess you could say. My first entry was taken when this low is taken out. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you guys to take these kind of entries. I'm being completely transparent and honest with you guys. As soon as this low is taken, I have a fixed lot. I'm okay with entering at extremes, and I had a 50 pip stop. And a 50 pip stop is not that much on gold. As you can see, we ended up moving 250 to the upside. So essentially that's a 1 to 5. But again, this isn't really an entry I'm telling you guys to be taking, but I'm going to explain my thought process as to why I did take it, right? So you can see from news, We come down, print that low, clear the liquidity to the left. We have a false reaction up. Okay. Anybody maybe looking again to sells off these areas, previous support, resistance, however you want to see it. They enter sells here. We induce lower once more. I took a buy here. That's my first extreme entry. Again, I had a big stop just in case. Again, a 50 pip stop like down here, just in case. It's definitely possible that we could have came up, respected this, and induced lower again. And if I had a 50 pip stop, I'm okay. All right. Again, this isn't entries I'm screaming at you guys to be taking, but I'm also going to explain any entries I do take. All right. So entry number one was down here. I'll draw it on just so you guys at least so you see it. And what you can target, whatever you feel comfortable doing. So again, we have relative equals up here. You have highs here, here, and then finally this high up here. And then you have your structural high up here. Do I need to be greedy and hold all the way to the structural high? No, like this is 240 pips even to this high here. So also you can look at the time of day, right? It's getting late on a Friday. Don't be afraid to close positions or pay yourself. But yeah, there's number one. Right after the news comes out. Entry number two, I'm waiting now on the lower time frames. Okay. So I need lower time frames to build me an entry, to give me that reason to take another one. Okay. So what I saw here was we ran that low. Okay. Creating a liquidity block. All right. Creating a liquidity block here. Do we have liquidity below this low right now? No. So I can possibly use that as an entry. We take out this high here. Okay. That provides us this false sell-off, taking out this low. This now becomes a trap. And that's exactly what happens. We get reactions up here. And again, same thing. We move away. So once we move away, we have liquidity at this high now on the lower time frames. All right. Before we respected this red box, look what we did here. Took out this 1 minute high. So this is going to be what? A trap. And what do we have right below that? A liquidity block. So like I was talking about before, I'm not too greedy with my entries. I like taking entries as soon as the liquidity is taken. Okay. You could, there's a couple different ways. I'll keep going through it just so you guys understand. You could wait for this candle to get tapped. You could wait for this 1 minute imbalance to get tapped. Or the last would be this 1 minute entry candle. Look, obviously all these don't work sometimes. So I don't get greedy. I wait for the liquidity taken, which is here. Sorry guys, people keep joining and it like screws my chart. As soon as the liquidity is taken here, I'm taking my entry. Just like that. Okay. And my stop goes where? Below the liquidity block. Okay. Taps me in, moves away. Cool. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm up quite a bit right now. So these entries here, again, I'm gonna go through all my entries. Always. I'm not gonna, there's no reason to hide anything, or all the entries are gonna be to the system still. There's some gonna be a little bit more advanced / risky sometimes, but I'm open to that. When I'm up so much, I'm okay with looking for more entries, which came about here, right? So look, we ran this low here, respecting this high here, which is building liquidity. And on it's a very squished perspective, but still to the system. Remember, everything is fractal. What happens on the 4 hour will happen all the way down to 15 seconds. Do we have to go down to seconds? Of course not. It's unnecessary, but still it's the same thing over and over. Look how we take out highs here, print this low and respect it, move away. Okay. And then we come into the smart money trap, have a false reaction to the downside, clear the buyers. What is this? Liquidity block. So how can I take this entry? When the liquidity is taken, buy, stop, below, liquidity block. Just like that, okay? And check this out. Again, target. And I'm definitely managing above this high, okay? And I'll explain why in a second. But entry number one, and then look at this. Since we've now taken out this liquidity point, what does this now become? Liquidity block, right? And same thing, again, small perspective, but look, we take out this high and we respect this low here once, twice. Look how we move away, respect it, move away. Again, this is a very small perspective, but it all still applies. Run that low, Respect that liquidity block. So this could have been another one. Stop below. And my target. Now, how am I managing this? What's my thought process? So I know that we have liquidity above this high, right? We've respected it, moved away. And then we've also left, like you got trend line over here. So as soon as we take this high, listen, I have a position down here and a position down here. I'm not going to be mad if we come up, okay? Oops. We come up, take the high, maybe sell off, and then continue. Take me out BE. I don't care. I still have positions down here. So when we're taking out this high, I understand that it's definitely possible that after liquidity is taken, that we could see that sell off. Because why? Look at the lows we're leaving here. Oops. Look at the lows we're leaving here. So this is my thought process. When this high is taken, I'm break evening my entry. Okay. I'm not too worried or not too bothered that if we come down and take me OBE and then move, it doesn't matter. I still have one entry over here and I still have that extreme down here. Okay. So that's my whole thought process behind me taking these entries as well. Obviously, they end up working out to a T, which is nice. Targeting these internal highs to the left. So look, 80-90% of the week was ass. It was shit, right? And then you come up Friday, and Friday makes my whole week look beautiful now. So that's the power of capital preservation on low probability days, staying patient, and then attacking when the time's right. So for example, being Friday. All right. Any questions? I hope no questions is a good thing. No, all good. I understand this surprisingly. Brother, you need to have more confidence in yourself. Don't be surprised. It'll only get easier from now anyways. Repetition and consistency. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Anyone have any questions right now? Let me know. Especially the newer guys. Anything in the content section that is you're not sure of? Beautiful boys. There was some on EU as well, similar to this. Let's check out EU. Let's get a look in. Where is EU going? Honestly, wow. Okay. EU's been asked lately. Yeah, but I'm going to be honest. This thing is going all the way up here. So we got another 400 pips probably coming in on EU. Not a question, but send me 10K, this guy says. Listen, if any of you guys ever need money, just message Avid, honestly. Okay. Make sure this is visible. I will DM now. Here you go, Avid. You set yourself up there. Okay, so why do I think this guy's going up here? I think I said it a while ago, but this is all the way back end of last year. Took out this low. False reactions at the high. Okay. Look how price respected here. Respected this low, moved away. Induced. I've been done something by showing that. It's for motivational purposes, but facts. Avid that Fed Reserve. Yeah, honestly. But yeah, respect that low, moved away, and then we come down and trap that liquidity. This is a liquidity block, so big surprise that we respected it. Any sells, any bearish reactions that occur are what? False. So you can see here, had reactions up here, sell off to the downside. What ends up happening at the lows here? I wasn't really looking at EU down here. Let's go on the 4 hour. Wow. Induced buyers. Wow, big bullish move up and then a big sell off back down. Where do we respect? I'm assuming here. Wow. This being a liquidity block down here. Respect that. Same thing again. Took out this internal high. I'm assuming came back down. Yeah, nice. Respected the low, moved away, liquidity below. Okay. And then came back, trapped the buyers. Honestly, as crazy as it is, but per the system, as soon as this happens, when we take out this low, eyes should go right here. Because why did this high print? This high printed from this to the left. So this would have been nasty swing target. But it makes sense. Okay. Is it hard to pinpoint sometimes? Of course, right? Like this happened back in, well, actually, I say back in, but it's hasn't even been a month. It's been half a month. But yeah, trap the buyers down here. Move away. These entries are going to be, yeah, these are all hard to take. Same thing with gold. Right? This was from the other day, actually, when I was trying to short into these lows, but we took out the highs and left all these equals. Ass, but it is what it is. No entries. Today, we traded into the high, okay? And then we had from news right at 8:30. Let's go to 15 so we can see. Trap any buyers, take anything there. We have a liquidity block at the low. For me to take this entry, I would have needed price to definitely wick lower. Probably into, let me take a look at the 1 hour. Yeah, it's a tough one. But you can see we come into this 1 hour imbalance. And per our system, it could have gone bullish anywhere here, right? It could have tapped anywhere in this imbalance. It could have filled the candle. It could have came all the way down to here if it wanted to. But unfortunately, all it did was wick right into the 1 hour imbalance and then fly. So entry-wise would have been hard. Now, if we came like all the way down here, spike below this low, for example, RR-wise, like you could take this entry. Stop below the liquidity block and target even this. Yeah, 1 to 3. You can still take that. I'm okay with that. But this is just an example. We would have needed price lower, right? Spiking down to this low didn't provide us a decent enough RR. Actually, I had a buy and shoot that low, but missed by 1 pip. Wow, that was savage. Where did you? Like this 1 minute imbalance down here. Not the cleanest. You know what would have been clean, actually? Look at this. Oh, are you talking all the way down on the lower time, or sorry, on the higher time frames? All the way down to 4 hour? Damn. Just for example purposes, check this out, guys. So this 1 hour low here that we have marked. So this is the start of the 1 hour imbalance when we tapped into the wick here. Let's just say this price action here from low went down and spiked the low, then went long. Now we have a liquidity block. So I've done this in the past as well, is you can take that entry here. And where's the stop go? Below that liquidity block there. Okay. But again, we didn't have a liquidity block to the left-hand side. So taking that entry there, you would have had to cover down here. And for obvious purposes, I mean, we're not taking 1 to 1.5 trades, personally, at least. Now let's see. Anything else on the lower time frames here? High taken, low taken. I'm gonna be honest with you guys though. Yeah, I'm marking this up, but this is nothing too clean. High taken there. So buyers trapped. You got a liquidity block below, possibly take an entry like this. But like I said, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This isn't clean stuff, right? You'd have to target something on the left-hand side for the RR to make sense here. Ugh. Yeah, this high here. Okay. Which isn't actually too bad of a target. Let's see the RR. 1 to 3 still. But that's all I see. Is there anything else that you guys saw on Euro? Am I missing something? This is like all I've seen, to be honest with you. Are you talking about this entry here? Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not wrong. It's just not like not super clean. I would have wanted to see, so like we took out this high, which kind of makes me a little more hesitant to take it because since there's nothing really too clean internally here, I would have wanted to see this here. Let me draw it out for you because it's so squished up the PA here. I would have wanted to see price come down, maybe respect this internal low, right? Move away, and then maybe get a run below it, right? But instead, all we did was sell off and drive to the extreme and then move away. So like I said, it's not wrong because essentially there's no liquidity block down, or sorry, there's a liquidity block down here. Just got to be aware that sometimes it induces lower once more. Okay. But yeah, my thought process behind that at least. And then as for entries here, would have been just this guy I like because we take out this structural high here, and then another sort of entry comes about in the lower time frames. But I'm not looking for buys anymore once this high is taken. Okay, because now it'll be low probability. It could easily just sell off, right? Since we're trading above here. Other than that, Kaka on Euro. Kaka the whole week. So gold was nice today, but even Euro was poop. Cool. Anybody else? Any more questions before we sign off for the weekend? This would have been nasty. A 6 swing from down here. I like that. That sounds like a good time to me. Man, listen, Ryan, I remember when I was designing and like creating the system, because everything I'm showing you guys now, there was nobody that ever sat down with me and was just like, this is this, this is that. It was never like that. It was me and the chart. Okay. I cannot tell you, man, 12 to 15-hour days for like months straight. I went ghost on every friend, every person in my life for like, I'm not saying you need to do this. It's a little extreme, but I didn't see anybody for like 6 months straight. I was going crazy. Not really crazy, but I was putting a shit ton of hours into the charts. And that's the most important part. I feel like experience, and I said it a bunch of times, experience is the one thing that I can't just hand to you guys. And I feel like that is the most important part of trading is experience. It aids you so much because you learn obviously a lot about the charts, but not only that is you learn a lot about yourself. Um, and that'll help you a lot. Lock yourself in your room, literally, man. Put the music on and just back test, forward test. Now before when I was making my system up, there was no FX replay. I'm gonna be honest, FX replay is a pretty good tool to use. But there's nothing better than tracking price live because yes, FX replay almost emulates it, but the problem is it doesn't emulate the actual time sitting in front of a chart. So for example, if you sit down for New York for 4 hours, you're sitting down for 4 hours, right? On FX replay, you can skip through 4 hours in a second. So you're kind of removing a little bit more emotion, that patience side of the thing. Like there's no patience involved in FX replay is what I'm saying. So there's nothing better than tracking price in live time. Even if you're just trading demo or just live testing, putting buy and sell tools on your chart, live testing is the best. Journal the trades Marco just went over with annotations. Look over them this weekend. Yeah, 100%. I agree. There's not too much to go over this week, unfortunately. But still, nonetheless, it's good to just study. But yeah, my 2 cents. I just realized in lifetime I tend to try to rush find entry, but yeah, exactly. So that's the thing, right? You'll never be able to get all the emotions that tracking live price gives you, right? Because then you feel all that emotion. You have to have patience, all that kind of stuff. There's no patience when you're trading FX replay. But don't get me wrong, it's still a good tool to like train the eye, right? That repetitiveness that comes from it. For the new guys that just joined up, apologies, but we're just finishing up now. Wait, I recorded this, right? Yeah. Okay. Wow. Got scared there for a second. But yeah, guys, take advantage of the weekend. Use it to if you guys want to chill out tomorrow, that's fine. I mean, sometimes Monday through Friday, staring at a chart gets a little bit exhausting. So if you want to chill out tomorrow and then come back Sunday, do some testing, clear your charts up, and get ready for the week, that also makes sense. Or if you just want to bang out Saturday and Sunday, it's up to you guys. But definitely use the weekend to study, whether that's the content or just back testing charts in general. All right. But yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys have a sick weekend, a good weekend. And yeah, I'll see you guys back in here in the Discord Monday. And then again, we'll have our end of the week call on the Friday. All right. Cool. And of course, I'm gonna get the call uploaded on WAP, and I'll let you guys know when it's all uploaded. Thanks for the Zoom. No worries, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend as well, man. All the best. Take care. And I will see you guys Monday in the Discord. Take it easy.